Everyone has seen the videos. SpaceX's towering Starship gliding through the sky, its silver hull catching the light like something out of science fiction. Elon Musk calls it humanity's ticket to Mars, the machine that will turn us into an interplanetary species. But what almost no one talks about is what that dream actually feels like from the inside. Because once the cameras stop rolling and the cheering fades, the people on board aren't stepping into a luxury cruise. They're entering a metal tube that will become their entire world for years. It's not glamorous. It's cramped, recycled, and sometimes disgusting. It's a journey where comfort is traded for survival, and every cubic meter of space matters. Inside Starship, the reality of space travel isn't just about rockets and science. It's about human endurance, psychological limits, and how far people are willing to go for a dream. So what does life on the first human trip to Mars really look like? Let's find out. The Starship that exists today didn't come easily. In the early days, SpaceX built prototypes that looked elegant on paper and exploded spectacularly in reality. Test after test, fiery crashes, and broken metal littered the landing pads. But with each failure came progress. One of the biggest lessons came from those landings. The way the ship flipped itself during descent meant that fuel couldn't slosh around in the bottom tanks. So engineers moved them up into the nose cone, trading stability for space. It worked, but it also meant goodbye to that grand panoramic window Musk once teased. Then came Starship V2, bigger, heavier, and paradoxically, smaller inside. The tanks extended upward, stealing space from the living quarters. The dream of open decks and sweeping windows shrank into a tighter, more utilitarian design. Every modification made the rocket stronger, but also a little less human. The same machine that promised freedom beyond Earth now felt like a giant metal compromise. And that was only the beginning. From the outside, Starship V2 looks enormous. 50 meters tall, wide enough to fit an airliner inside. But once you step in, the illusion fades. What once promised 1,000 cubic meters of space now holds roughly half that, around 500 cubic meters of livable area. To put it in perspective, that's just a little more than half of the International Space Station, which holds 7 people at a time and already feels claustrophobic. NASA once calculated that a person needs at least 25 cubic meters of space to stay mentally stable during long missions. That means Starship V2 could safely hold about 20 people, no more. But that's just a theoretical number, because walls, machinery, and supplies will eat away much of that room. What sounds like a massive spacecraft quickly starts feeling like a floating apartment shared with 19 roommates. And with every meter of space sacrificed to fuel and engineering, the comfort of those inside shrinks further. The dream is getting smaller, but still alive. At the very bottom of Starship lies the part no one romanticizes, the cargo bay and airlock. It's the ship's basement, a pressurized circle filled with tools, spacesuits, and a mechanical elevator designed to lower explorers down to the Martian surface. Every piece of equipment has a purpose, and every kilogram must earn its place. Above that, engineers plan a storage deck crammed with water tanks, oxygen systems, food containers, and waste recycling units. Everything heavy stays low to keep the ship's balance stable for landing. Each floor is carefully arranged like a puzzle piece in a vertical ecosystem. It's functional, efficient, and incredibly cramped. There's no extra room for comfort or decoration, just the bare necessities for survival. From these first 2 decks alone, nearly half the available space is gone, filled with pipes, storage units, and machinery. Only above this mechanical foundation does the human part of Starship begin, and even that is designed more like a submarine than a home. If you think rocket science is hard, try managing hygiene in space. There are no showers, no sinks, and no privacy. Every drop of water is precious, so precious that nothing goes to waste. The crew will drink recycled water, filtered and purified from every source possible, including their own urine. NASA's systems already recycle up to 93% of all water on board the ISS, and Starship will need to do the same. Without it, 20 travelers would require over 20 metric tons of water, far too heavy to lift off Earth. Instead, they'll rely on advanced filtration systems and strict routines. Showers are replaced with damp towels and dry shampoos. Waste is dehydrated, sealed, and stored. It's unpleasant, but essential. Living on Starship means learning to let go of comfort, pride, and even privacy. It's a test of endurance that begins the moment the door closes, and the realization sets in that you're sharing a recycled ecosystem, where even your sweat has to be reused. On Earth, gravity keeps our muscles and bones strong. In space, it slowly destroys them. Without daily exercise, astronauts can lose up to 1% of their bone mass every month. That's why 2 hours of exercise per day are mandatory. Deck 4 of Starship will likely become the gym, a small, noisy place filled with resistance machines, stationary bikes, and treadmills strapped to the floor. It's not about vanity, it's survival. But physical health is only half the challenge. Mental stability in isolation is even harder to maintain. 20 people living in constant proximity, no escape, no fresh air, every noise amplified by metal walls. To stay sane, the crew will rely on strict schedules, personal time, and the simple comfort of routine. Exercise becomes therapy, structure becomes safety. And yet, beneath the discipline, everyone will still feel it. The gnawing weight of distance from home, and the haunting silence of deep space pressing in. Above the storage decks lies the heart of Starship, the living quarters. It's here that 20 people will sleep, eat, and live for months at a time. Imagine a space roughly the size of a large suburban home, but instead of a family of 4, it holds an entire crew. Bunk pods line the curved walls, small rectangular chambers barely big enough to stretch out in. There's no privacy, only thin partitions and a constant hum of machinery. SpaceX's renderings show up to 20 beds on one deck, a floating dormitory for humanity's pioneers. Elon Musk once claimed Starship could carry 100 people to Mars. Technically, yes. Comfortably? Not a chance. 20 is already pushing it. Beyond that, it becomes a psychological experiment in endurance. Yet, inside these tight quarters, bonds will form. Friendships, rivalries, maybe even laughter. It won't be easy, but it will be human. The first shared home between 2 planets. Life on Starship won't stop for mealtime, but food will be one of the few joys left. There won't be any kitchens or ovens, just reheated, vacuum-sealed meals and freeze-dried packs. Still, astronauts have learned to make the best of it. There'll be coffee, maybe even pizza. Hydroponic gardens could add small bursts of green to the monotony, lettuce, herbs, maybe strawberries if they're lucky. The mess hall doubles as a social hub, where people gather not just to eat, but to connect. Afterward, they might float to the lounge deck. Open space with screens, windows, and personal VR systems to simulate Earth. It's not luxury, but it's escape. In those quiet hours between duty and rest, they'll look out through small windows at the black ocean outside, Earth shrinking into a dot, Mars still just a promise ahead. That connection to home, however faint, will be what keeps them human. At the top of Starship lies its brain, the flight deck. This is where the crew straps in for the most dangerous moments of the mission, launch, landing, and everything in between. When Starship performs its stomach-turning flip maneuver before touchdown, the people inside will feel every motion. That's why the control deck sits high in the structure, away from the shifting fuel tanks and violent swings of landing. For months, they'll watch data flow across glowing screens, track their course, and wait. Then, one day, the view outside will change. The endless blackness will fade, replaced by a red horizon. Mars, a world humanity has dreamed of for centuries, now within reach. The descent will be tense, the landing uncertain. But if all goes well, they'll touch down on alien soil and step out as the first residents of another planet. Their home, the same metal ship that carried them through the void. Their legacy, proving that we belong among the stars.